Okay, we're in. Hello, welcome to episode 397, or is it 398 of the Self-Help Podcast? How are you doing, Sean? You okay?
I'm doing very good. Had a bit of a hiccup on Friday because I woke up Friday morning with and I had a long COVID,
Oh,
and
right.
it got quite bad. So I went and had a swab test, just to check that I hadn't got it again. It came back negative.
Okay.
But they all just say it's long COVID. You're just going to have to get used to it. Could last for months yet. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right. It's a bit spooky that I've heard reports about, not wanting to freak you out, but, there's a lot of people that are going back into hospital like months after they've had it for the first time. And it's,
Yeah.
I assume I've managed to swerve it so far, but hopefully that can keep that up, because I do not fancy chancing my arm with that thing. Sounds like a right nasty virus.
Yeah. Not good at all. Yeah.
It's all right. Good to hear you're okay. It is episode 398. I've just had a quick little look. We're kind of continuing our free online course. I haven't got a copy of the book with me today, but it's the Live in the Present 10 Steps to Change Your Life course that we're doing, so people can follow along as they're.
And here it is.
There it is. There we go. So you can buy a copy.
I have got some hard copies if people want some. I've got some.
It's available to purchase through the website, digital. I think it's on Kindle, but we're gonna upload each chapter each week to the website along with the show notes. So no excuses. You'll be able to access it for free through the website. If you want to chip in and buy a copy for your bookshelf for it to gather dust for the years to come, you go for it.
Make a good firelighter in a generation.
We'll come on to that in a bit. liveinthepresent.co.uk for all the show notes and links, as ever. The podcast is on Apple and Google and all Spotify, all the usual sources for podcasts, which I'm actually getting back into podcasts now after a while, because I got some wireless headphones. With the phone I bought recently, it came with a free offer with some free wireless headphones, some pretty good ones actually. So I've been listening to podcasts each night before bed. It's quite. I'm a podcaster, but I don't listen to that many podcasts usually. But it's a great format, isn't it, for hunting down your heroes and stuff you're into.
Have you ever listened to the self-help podcast? It's a good one. You should do it.
Sound very good. Not a very imaginative title, is it? Hey ho. I am subscribed to that one though. I haven't listened to it in a while. How you been, Sean? How's life on planet Earth for the psychotherapist?
Life is tough. Life's tough for lots of people, hence why we're doing this. But I mean, overall, I'm seeing people that are looking at the year thinking, oh my God, this is going to be here for a year yet. And I'm looking at people that are going to be, because of their own working situations, effectively unemployed for a year. They can't see their worlds regenerating until 22. And it fits very well in with the whole concepts of the course here that we're doing, because it's if you're going to be in a stuck situation, how about we do something productive with it and actually make things happen,
Indeed. Yeah. I mean, that's the way I'm trying to look at it. I mean, I'm, again, selfishly kind of, it's a strange, I can work from home quite easily. I've got 2 little boys. I'm homeschooling, quite enjoying our little routine at the moment, to be honest, kind of lazy mornings and kind of getting going, and they have little Zoom check-ins with teachers and then getting through a load of work with them before lunchtime, and then kind of a bit more chilled out in the afternoon so I can get on with my work. Early days still. It's been chucking it down, hasn't it, for like 48 hours here in the UK. So no desire to leave home anyway. So
no, you get very wet on a bike at the moment.
Yeah, certainly. I know I'm missing it actually. I haven't been out for a couple of weeks on 2 wheels. So hopefully next few days I will. But should we dive into step 1 of the course?
Yeah.
Do you want to set the scene a little bit? What we're going to get? What we diving into this week?
Yeah. So the whole idea of this program and the people that came on it, we had a few hundred people come on it over time. were people usually that were a point of change or a point of decision. Things were happening in life, but they had to make decisions, and they were having problems making decisions because of the way their minds were set. So we were looking at the idea about how could you get rid of the negative, get into the positive, and create what it is that you want. Yeah. And that's the basic idea. And it's very relevant at the moment because a lot of us are living in the negative, and we need to create some positive and get rid of the negative so we can do what we want. And if we're going to be in this situation for a year, or for a good few months, then let's make the most of it. Let's go get what we can out of it.
Indeed. Yeah. So last week we kind of set the scene with the introduction from the book, which it kind of goes through that process, doesn't it, of understanding that you've reached this. People are here hopefully listening to this because they want to change their lives for the better, or they've got something in mind that they want to focus on in the next 12 months or longer, and they're ready for change. But the first step along the way, is it something that people are ready for on the whole? Does it hit them like is it a big whack across the chops, or is it a nice easy start?
This first step is the toughest thing. Right. If you can do this, the rest starts to work. And it's good to start here with this bit, which is pretty tough, because we're looking at the things that hold us back, the things that stop us changing or stop us achieving what it is that we want or we would need. And it's quite tough to face up to some of that. So,
all right,
we need to get into that and have some fun.
I'm conscious that most people might be listening to this. We do have a YouTube channel where I upload each podcast with video every week, and I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation, which you don't have to see it, but it might help just to kind of just to trigger things along the way. And shall I share that now?
So we can tell you what's on each PowerPoint, can't we?
You're going to be Chris Whitty, and I'm going to be the guy that goes to the next slide when you're ready.
I say, can we have the next slide, please?
People are able to contact you, right? You've got your email address here, Sean@seanorford.com. You're on
Sean at seanorford.com. And if you want to talk anything through, or you hit problems in doing the work we're doing on this program, then just give me a shout and we'll work through it.
Cool. Okay, so
it is good.
Go on then, run us through this. So what are we doing?
Well, so it says, why this course? Well, this course is about how positively and mindfully can you change. That's why this course. We're using some modern psychology, we're using some neuropsychology, and we're using some traditional Ayurvedic and mindful techniques to have a look at it and say, okay, how can we change things? And the why now is we're in the pandemic, we've got Brexit, we've got all this stuff going on, and we have a lot of kind of negativity around us, or potential negativity if we see it that way. And one of the things about this, I mentioned it last week, was the law of attraction, which has come out in lots of different kinds of books like The Secret and stuff like that. And the law of attraction is based around the idea that we're writing our own script all the time, that everybody that's listening to this, the current situation that you're in is the sum total of all the decisions that you've made since you were born. Now, taking responsibility for that can be a bit tough. And we like to blame other people, which is always a dead end, because no one else is ever responsible for the way that I am. It doesn't matter how disastrous or horrible or nasty it is or was, the ultimate responsibility is you, because one of the things we'll come back to again and again is it's never what happens to us, it's how we respond to it that is the bit that's important. We are the author of things. But the last bit here is the law of attraction is about thoughts become things. Well, long time ago, one of my teachers, Ramaji here, would say to me that what you hold in your bindi will come to pass. Now, the bindi is like the third eye or the mind or the brain. And what he was saying was, what you hold in your mind, you will create. You're writing your own script. And that's in a lot of modern psychology now. We're script writers. Yeah, but that means we need to take responsibility for the script we've written up to now. And if we don't like it, pick up a new pen or a pencil and start writing again and create the script that you do want. Yeah.
Is this something from experience that people initially are struggling with, hearing this stuff like straight off the bat, or is this?
Yeah, I mean, the idea that it's like, how on earth could I be responsible for? You know, I lost my leg, I've got cancer. You know, my father beat me with a stick. You know, my partner left me. There's always someone else or something else. You know, it's God, it's the doctors, it's somebody. But when it comes right down to it, the responsibility is mine for how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how I deal with things is mine.
So
it's a hard one to get your head around.
Yes, I mean, your dad, I don't know if he beat you with a stick or he used something else, some other kind of instrument, or but when did the realization come to you that was, you know, you needed to kind of let go of that?
Oh, it was a long way down the line. I had a difficult childhood, left home at 15, got involved in drugs and all kinds of things. And it was only when I hit an ashram and started to straighten myself out when I was in my 20s that my teacher at the time said to me, or suggested to me, that I might have some responsibility for the way my life had gone, because I blamed everybody. I blamed my father, I blamed the world for why I was in such a state, rather than being actually responsible for myself. And the things that happened to me, like things that happen to most people, they may be the reason why we are like we are, but they're not the excuse. Yeah, you can't excuse it.
Okay. Yeah. All right, let's get into the program then. There's 3 aims in the program, hey?
Yeah. So we're looking at resolving the past, and this is what I'm talking about, letting go of all that stuff that has held us back, that we've allowed to hold us back, you know, or we don't even know it's holding us back until we actually look at it. Yeah, letting go of all that stuff, and then being able to establish the present, getting into the moment, actually being able to be where we are. Most people are not where they are. Most people are either living in a depressed past or an anxious future. So the common thing for me in occupational health would be someone coming up to retirement and they're saying, I really don't know where my life's gone. You know, it's like I only left school yesterday and now I'm 65 and I'm retired, what's going on? And they're a bit distressed. And the reality is that they were never living in their present. They were living in an unresolved past or a feared future, and they never lived in the present. They missed it. Yeah. But the thing is that if you can positively get into your present, then you can create the future that you want. Yeah. That's what it's about.
My father-in-law just celebrated his 70th birthday a few days ago, and I put together a little video slideshow video. Like a few people sent him like happy birthday messages and told a few tales from down the years. So, and I'm hitting 40 in December. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't figured out myself how I feel about turning 40 and whether I think life's gone by quickly or slowly, or whether I've made the most of things or not. I haven't thought about it that much yet. I probably should spend a bit of time this year. But yeah, no, I mean,
I think
go on.
Doing a self-audit is good.
Yeah.
At any point. Yeah. Yeah. You were
saying?
saying?
I do also feel that, like, I'm quite excited about turning 40 because I feel like this is like going to be my productive decade. Like I'll have the, hopefully, touch wood and all that, the energy and like the youthfulness to kind of get like a lot done, but also I've got the experience and the kind of, hopefully a bit of nous to do it the right way. And so I'm quite excited about, personally.
Do you think it's interesting when you get older that it's the ones with noughts on the problem between being 19 and 20 or being 29 and 30 or 39 and 40? It's those ones that are the big ones. It feels like I've moved into a new phase of life.
I know. I know it's weird, isn't it? Because my father-in-law, I assume we would have had some kind of big party for him because it's 70, and like we all feel a bit like he's missed out on it. But there's nothing stopping us having a equally big party for 71 or even 70.75 or whatever, some kind of weird fraction. You can have a party any day of the week, can't you?
Yeah. I'm sure there's lots of people that will be having they'll be living Christmas in the summer or something like that. Just making sure they do cover it.
Yeah. All right. So we got the three
Okay.
aims done: creating the future, establishing the
Yeah.
present, resolving the past, and then there's
Yeah.
4 worlds that you took. This is new to me, actually. I haven't seen this stuff before. So do you want to explain it?
Well, the way that I see people is there's 3 primary aspects to a person, which is the thinking, the feeling, and the doing. Yeah, we have a thinking self, a feeling self, and a doing active self. Yeah, very often they argue with each other, which is where our problems are. But the thing that comes out of self-development is, I like to use the word spirit, I'll own that. But it's the observer, it's I, the observer. I can observe what I think, I can observe what I feel, and I can observe what I do. And when I realize that and I learn to be the observer of myself, that's when I can change really easily. Yeah, because up to that moment, I'm working on autopilot. It's all just blind. But once I start to listen to my thoughts and actually become aware of my feelings and observe my actions, it starts to make sense. So the person who thinks, I really love animals, and they say that logically, I really love animals, but emotionally, they get angry and then they go home and kick the cat. So that their feeling and doing is at odds with their thinking, and we're all like that. We all say things, then go and do something else, but it's being able to observe that and learn. That's how we change and grow. So that I, the observer, I'm using the word spirit, is the key. If you can contact that bit inside you that can observe yourself, your ego, your body, all the things that are going on, then you can change it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's an interesting. Yeah.
And then seen and unseen. What's all that?
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that the world is full of the seen things, which are these actions, the behavior, the experience, all that kind of stuff. But the thoughts and the feelings behind the action seem to be unseen. We observe people's behaviors, but we don't necessarily understand what's going on within them. Yeah. And very often it's the sound behind the words, isn't it? Someone can say good morning and make it sound like a declaration of war rather than declaration of love. Yeah, because the things that come out physically in our actions and our voice aren't necessarily reflecting what's going on inside us. So we've just had a gorgeous example of that with people like Donald, who could stare into a camera and say all kinds of things and then deny he ever did it. Yeah. Great disparity between behavior and what's going on inside.
Yeah, and you've written unconscious and subconscious there, and I guess someone can say good morning in a way that you might, take offense to, but the person that's actually said it might not realize that they've,
Yeah, so you go into work and you say to someone, morning, and they go, don't give me morning, what do you mean? Because they've heard it not in the way that you meant it. It's the classic miscommunications going on. Yeah. But we do that inside ourselves as well. We miscommunicate with ourselves. Our thoughts and our feelings start to play with each other, and then we get that internal dialogue. Why did you do that? I don't know. Yeah, you should have done that. I know, but you didn't. I know. So why didn't you do it? I don't know. Yeah, and we have that kind of mad conversation. Keeps us awake at night, and we need to get over all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on. Moving on then.
Okay. Paradigm. The way that I see me in psychospeak, we say it's my paradigm. And what that paradigm is from the moment that I'm born, I start to learn things, and I learn them by observation. So I'm observing from my parents or the caregivers, his siblings, extended family, culture, society, ethnicity, religion, faith, belief, peers, teachers, managers, media, it goes on and on and on. But all the time I'm learning. Yeah. And then once I've created this paradigm, which is shown, what I see is shown, I say, well, that's the way I am. And then very often when I do something stupid, I say, oh, it's just the way I am. It's just the way I am. It's never the way you are. It's the way you've learned to be. And once you get your head around the idea that you can learn to be different, then you change.
Yeah. I don't know if this is too much of a tangent, but I'll say it anyway. I think later on in this presentation, we're going to talk about responsibility, but I've been watching, we've got through series 4 of The Crown, the Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Princess Di and Charles. So getting quite close to like modern day, really, and it's quite interesting, and it's it's a period of time that I sort of remember. I was born in '81, so although the series doesn't quite get up to the end that Princess Diana met, but we were watching a documentary about Princess Diana after, just because we were kind of really, my wife was interested in it and wanted to kind of revisit a bit of history, and it got to the point where she was killed, and well, when she died in the car crash, and a lot of people were really cross and angry with the press for having killed her, for having hunted her down. And I can see why. I understand why. But then at the same, so there were a lot of people on the streets talking about, the Sun and the broadsheets on the tabloids that killed her, that murdered her. But then they didn't really address the fact that, the tabloids, and we've talked about this before, the tabloids wouldn't exist without the demand from people buying the newspapers, right? So is it the newspaper's fault that she died, or is it our fault for wanting to buy the newspapers and consume those pictures of her on the beach and in hotel rooms or whatever?
But that makes the assumption that she died because of the paparazzi. We don't really know what happened, because we only know that she was in a car and it crashed. We don't know how it crashed or why it crashed. We don't know any of that. And that's when you get into the conjecture and the conspiracy theorists and
right. I haven't gone down that was the whole yet. Yeah, I am aware that there are conspiracies. I think the driver was drunk. I think she wasn't wearing a seatbelt and stuff.
Well, we don't know that he was drunk. They said he was drunk, but who knows?
All right, I'm not going to open that kind of words then. But anyway, you're talking about responsibility here and how things are often more complex than we think in society, aren't they? And we are influenced by all sorts of weird factors going on, and it can feel like things are out of our control, but they're not necessarily, are they?
But the thing is that, and this is the point about whatever happens out there, I don't have to take it in here. Just because the world's going mad, I don't have to go mad. Because the mad people take over the asylum, I don't have to join in. Yeah. And when you see people getting agitated and screaming and shouting about the state of the world, and it's like, and what are you going to do about it? I can affect this bit around me, but I can't necessarily affect, what's going on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
And it's like all of us have to take responsibility for ourselves and the world around us. And it comes back to my favorite saying, if we all look after each other, we're all going to be okay. But learning to do that is a real tough thing for most human beings,
Yeah, I mean, go on, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm quite zen about things at the moment. I like to think maybe it's because I haven't been directly impacted yet by what's the pandemic and stuff. But I'm thinking of you a lot, Sean, when things like this, it's just chaos out there, isn't it? And especially at the moment, I can literally hear the rain battering on the roof here, and there's floods going on around the country apparently. So easy for me to say, but just sit on the riverbank and watch it all go by.
Yeah, and do what you can to help people, but it's no good running around in a panic about things that you can't affect. It doesn't make any difference at all.
Yeah.
So this slide here, what is your paradigm? Well, it's when it comes down to you right now, it's your basic feelings about life, about yourself. Do you like yourself? I have this thing which we'll come across in the future on this program about, in the morning you get up, you go to the mirror, you look yourself in the eyes, you go, who loves you, baby? And you get a bit of positive self-esteem going. So it's like, how do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about your rights? Do you feel like you're able to be who you want to be? How do you feel about what you deserve? I meet so many people that don't deserve to be happy. They'll tell me that I don't deserve to be happy. And even if they are having a good time, they'll say, I hate it when I'm having a good time. Why is that? And it's because if I have a good time, things might get bad pretty soon. So I'm just preparing for them to get bad. And it's like, it's all that predictive paradigm stuff that goes on. But we do it with everything. We do it with money, gender, sex, society, education. We do it with everything. And if we were on the group, we'd probably kind of break out now if we were on the course and get people to talk about how they saw different bits of life, and then we come back and share them. Yeah, but it's useful if you're listening to this to just think about it. How do you feel about you? Do you feel that your rights are met? There are lots of people that don't. They feel like they're badly done to by society. But do you feel that you deserve what you've got? Do you deserve better? Have you got more than you deserve? How are you looking at it? Cup half full, cup half empty. What's going on? Yeah, and this is about self-discovery. It's about learning about you and the people around you too.
Yeah, totally. I'm just trying to dig it out now. Actually, I've been homeschooling both my boys, which is good fun. But my lad Will, my eldest lad, has been sent through a bit of a philosophical one this morning. In the first page of the sheet today, which I'll hold it up. I'll just read it out. It was about resilience. So it was the first thing I read was, I understand that sometimes hopes and dreams do not come true, and this can hurt. Rewatch the video below about how some people pursued their hopes and dreams. Notice how achieving your dreams doesn't always go to plan. So that was quite a deep one for a 9-year-old to get stuck into.
Yeah. No, it's good. That's good. Yeah.
But yeah,
how did he get on with it?
He was fine, actually. Yeah. So I've got his notes written down here that he did. So the resource asked him to think about a time in his life when he felt upset or that something had gone wrong. He was giving examples about, maybe you'd lost a football match or you'd lost something that was precious to you. And I kind of left him to it, and he kind of came back with Christmas, how we had to kind of make some last minute changes to plans, and we weren't going to get to see all of the family that we hoped to.
Right, yeah.
So he wrote some notes about that. He's drawn a little Christmas tree with him on his own by the tree.
All right.
But how we kind of, we got by. I mean, we had a great Christmas regardless. It was just smaller, and I was helped by all my friends and family to get through it. So, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it's quite a nice little exercise, actually. So, yeah, hopefully he's on the right track at the age of 9. I don't know if I was ever taught stuff like this. But yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the interesting things when you run these kind of programs, the amount of people that do say, why didn't anybody teach this when we were kids? And that's a very real thing. Why?
Yeah.
So like the next point is, do you know that you have a choice? Now, people very often feel fixed in their paradigm, in the way they see themselves and they see the world, but you don't have to be. You've got a choice. You've got a choice about what you feel, what you think, and how you act. It's a bit like if you walk out the front door and your feet turn left, you wouldn't put up with that. You'd make your feet turn right if that's the way you wanted to go. Yeah, it's like, but we will put up with our mind thinking and running off all kinds of places. We'll put up with our emotions feeling all kinds of things. Now, it can be fairly easy to understand that you can change the way your body works. Like, don't turn left, turn right. Okay, I can get that. Most people can get around the idea of you don't have to think like that. You can think like this. Okay, reframing thoughts. We can get around that. The idea of you don't have to feel like that, you can change the way you feel, is something that people find quite difficult. Mm-hmm. But you can do it. You can change the way you feel. And that's part of what we're going to do as we go through this process, is understanding how we change what we feel. You have a choice. And that's so important. Yeah.
And then, we kind of assume, don't we, that people want to change. And most people will say, if you ask them, I guess, would you like this? Would you like that? Would you like your, and they'll say, but then they won't act accordingly. So why don't people change?
Well, because they get stuck and fixed in the paradigm that they've got. So the classic is, if you say to someone, what do you really, really, really want? They'll say, I want to be happy. That's not good enough. To make it change, to get the image right, you have to know what color it is, what it smells like, what does it taste like, what shape is it. You have to be able to define it, to be able to go and do it. Just happiness is an amorphous kind of thing. Yeah. Or the classic would be, I want to win the lotto. I want £1 million. Okay, what would you actually do with it? And most people would have a holiday. They'd pay off the mortgage, look after your people. What do you do next? I don't know. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. And it's being able to open up and understand. So Why don't people change? Well, people don't, they don't grow. They stop growing, they stop developing. And it's because that inner paradigm tells them that they can't. There's so many words in people's heads. It's like in psychotherapy, in my psychotherapy room, there are a series of words that you can't use, like ought, should, must, don't, and can't. Yeah, they're words that are banned, because as soon as someone says, I can't do that, they say it, they hear it, and they just reinforced it. So it's a done deal. So someone says, I can't do it, that's right. Yeah. And the idea of, if you can start to change the way that you speak, which is the observer self, the spiritual bit, observing the way the thinking bit is working, and you can change what's coming out of your mouth. So you might say, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it, but somehow I'm going to do it. Then it starts to move. But if you say, no, I can't do that, it doesn't move, it stays stuck. Yeah. So that whole idea about, I can change my paradigm, but I have to work at it. I have to start to really kind of work with it. And that working is my responsibility. And this is the key. It's what I was talking about earlier on. We come back to it. It's like, no one else is responsible for my life, right? Nobody. Yeah. I am the result. My life is the result of the decisions I've made and the reactions that I've chosen to make to the experiences that I've had. So the example in that for me, and I am in awe of the Paralympians. If someone blows your legs off, what do you do? Do you sit in the corner and drink gin, which has been quite attractive for me? Or do you strap on a pair of kangaroo legs, sort your head out and go and run? What do you do? Yeah. And those are the choices that we make. But lots of people will be, oh, no, I can't do that. Oh, because. And there are people that go and do it. Now, I've got an Auntie V who's 93, it rhymes, and she is as skinny as a stick, but she's like a ferret. When you go out for a walk with her, you've got to run to keep up with her, because she's off and she has that kind of determination to do stuff. There's no way that she's going to lay down and play dead. Whereas I work with people that are kind of 45, 50, and they've already become old people. They're like, because they're not taking responsibility for kind of staying healthy, staying fit, doing things, being happy. Yeah. And the thing is that you can change your life to make it anything that you want to be once you take responsibility for it and you choose to change it. You can do it. The choice is yours.
Yeah, I was watching. So on the flip side of Will learning about resilience today, at lunchtime. He was allowed to watch YouTube for a bit, and he's always watching all sorts of mad stuff on there. And one of them was about famous footballers, and it was the kind of richest sports stars in the world, or something like that. It was some American production, and it went through all the footballers and basketball players and tell you how many millions and billions of dollars they've got, and how many private jets they've got, and all this homes and all that kind of stuff. And I was asking him about him, really, having just done the resilience one thing with him, about how the two went together. And it was, I didn't really go too deep with him, but we always look in society, don't we? So it was looking at Messi and Ronaldo and that LeBron James, the basketball star in America, and it didn't show anything about how much work they put into getting to be like the greatest sportsmen and women on earth. All the, probably not just the work that the individuals put into it, but also probably the families of those sports stars that probably sacrificed a lot when they were kids and all that stuff. So that's what I like to talk about when we talk about self-development. It's about the worth and the value of all that hard work through the process. It tends not to get too much done.
And as a parent, you end up running your kids around to do things. And if you've got a child that's an aspiring musician or something like that, you're going to run them all over the place so they can play and practice and whatever. And you're right, that's hidden. It's below the surface, isn't it?
Yeah. I also did mention to him that a lot of the people mentioned aren't necessarily the happiest people on planet Earth, and that just because they've got goodness knows how many millions in the bank and 6 houses around the globe, they're not always seem to me like to be the most happy, inverted commas, individuals that you kind of come up against, Mayo. Maybe they should get.
I have worked with so many people who have been so rich, are so rich, and are so miserable. And when you don't have it, the concept of having money equals happiness. For lots of people. When you work with people that have a lot of money, you realise that for some of them it's actually a burden. But all it does, money is like a magnifying glass. It makes things bigger. If you're a miserable person, it means you can be miserable in style. And if you're a happy person, it means you can be bigger happy, more happy, do more things. But it's just a magnifying glass. It doesn't change you.
All right, let's come on to forgiveness then, because this is a big. I mean, this is in the book.
Well,
the chapter's titled, isn't it? So it's a big one.
Yeah. So it's step one is being able to forgive those that have done bad things to you, basically, because that's one of the things that really, really holds you back. And if you're listening to this, do go onto the site and download the chapter, the step. In that, I give an example of a letter that I wrote to my father. But there's a key to this. It's like, to forgive other people, you need to acknowledge what they've done, and you need to be able to let it go. But you're not saying to the other person, what you did was okay. What you did was fine. I'm not saying that. I'm not giving that value. What I'm saying is, I choose to forego, which is what forgiveness means. I choose to forego my connection to this event. It's yours, you keep it. Yeah, I can't do anything with your end of it. It's like a piece of elastic. I'm going to cut my piece of elastic, but the elastic is still connected to your end. What you do is entirely up to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I give an example in the book, which is a very real one. It actually happened, changed the name. A guy who was working in a housing project when we were closing psyche hospitals, and we created the housing projects. And this guy, he had been done badly to by a female member of staff who'd accused him of things, and he ended up being disciplined, and he was about to be dismissed for gross misconduct. And then it turned out that it was provable that she'd lied. It never happened. Wow. Right? And he was really, really angry with this woman. And I said to him, in the end, we had a few sessions, and I said to him, the only way you're going to get over this is you have to forgive her. And he got really angry, shouted at me, stood up, called me lots of things with 4 letters in that were not shown, and left. And then when he came back to the next session, he said to me, I kind of get what you're talking about. I've gone away and thought about it. I know what you mean. Yeah. I can see that I need to forgive and let go of it. But you know what? I don't want to. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, if I do that, it's going to make it that it's okay for her that she did it. It's like justifying what she did. And I went through the whole thing to explain, no, it's about you letting go of your stuff. Her stuff she's going to have to deal with, but you can't change her stuff. Yeah. But he said, no. And we agreed to part company. And he went off and he said to me, his phrase was, I'm going to nurse this hurt to my bosom like a baby, is what he said.
Wow, really?
And I saw him, it was over a year later, I saw him in a market in North Wales. And I said, how you doing? And he said, babe is fine. And he will go to his grave with the bitterness of that event on him.
Wow.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. And all of us are carrying stuff like that we need to let go of.
Yeah, a lot of, I mean, I've come across people in life, that kind of, they hold on to that hard done by, that thing that happened to them 40 years ago, and they kind of, it's whether it's some kind of comfort blanket or I don't know. Like you say, you're much better placed to explain why people do hold on to those things. But yeah, I mean, the idea.
I think we live in a world of blame. We live in a blame culture. Whose fault is it? There's adverts on the television all the time. Have you tripped over a matchstick? Who can we sue for you? Yeah, they're on there all the time. And we live in a world where I'm not going to take responsibility for me. I'm going to find someone else to blame for it. I'm not saying people don't do bad things. I'm not saying that people have bad things done to them, but you can hold it and feed it and nurture it and make it bigger and bigger, or you can just let it go. Yeah. And I say, just let it go. Okay. In this step, and if you read the chapter, then there's work in letting it go. But the only way you're going to get into your present and create what you want is to let go of all this negativity that's in your head. Yeah, it's the only way it works. On the slide that's up now, it says 5% of people, only 5% of people in the world live in the present. That's the way it's reckoned when you look at the research. Everyone else is living in the past or the future. You know, anxious future, I'm scared, or depressed past, you can't believe what happened to me, you know, rather than actually being where they are. You know, life's a thing that passes you by whilst you're worrying about what was and what will be. Forget it, live in the present, come into the now. Yeah.
I mean,
so forgive those that trespassed against you. It's the phrase, isn't it?
Yeah, we're kind of rattling through this stuff, but how long can it take for, I mean, we should have said maybe that this work can take, each step could take weeks, months. What are we talking about for something like the courage to give someone?
Yeah, we're going to go through this in 10 sessions in 10 weeks. And one of the things that we experienced when we were running this as a course out there with live people was that to get through one of these steps in a week was a pretty hard task. You know, and I remember a woman who had written a whole load of letters to people, and she'd written something like 18 letters, all of which were like 9 sides of A4. And she'd been up all night, all week, and she was looking like chewed string, you know. So, I mean, it is tough stuff. So let's go through it. So what we're saying is forgiving others doesn't justify in any way or validate their behavior, right? In forgiving others, you're stating clearly to the universe that you're now changing your life and that you no longer want to allow the actions of others to hold you back. And in forgiveness, you free yourself of the past so that you can grow and be happy. And the issues of punishment or the consequences of other people's negativity and their negative actions, it's their stuff, it's not yours. You can't solve other people's problems, but you can let go of your end of it. And that's what forgiveness is about. Yeah.
And yeah,
it's great.
You've got to commit to it, right?
Yeah. So first task, commit yourself to forgiveness. And to do this, and this is a very practical issue, make a list of all and everyone who's ever done you wrong. Everybody that you can think of. Start in the present, go right back until you were at the size of an egg. You know, and it was a case of someone did actually say, when I was 4 years old, this little fella, I can't remember who it was, came along and nicked my lolly in the playground. And this person is in middle age and they're still holding on to this. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, but we need to learn to get rid of it. So for each person, you have to decide how you need to forgive them, right? Now, what we suggest that you do is that you write a letter. You need to look at the notes for that. But it's a letter that you don't send. You can't send a letter to people. If you send a letter to someone saying, hiya, I just want to forgive you for being such a rotten sod when I was 15 years old, or, you know, last week, or whatever, because the person comes back and says, bloody right, yeah, and I should, you just get into the whole thing again. That doesn't work, right? It just becomes negativity, right? So, but writing the letter, you take the negativity from your head and your heart and you process it out there onto a piece of paper. I did mine on a computer. I didn't write mine by hand. I tried, but it was too difficult because I had to keep going back and using whiteout to wipe bits out and write it again. So what I tended to do was I would do it on the computer, leave it, come back to it a few days later, edit it until I got it right. Then I'd print it and delete it from the computer, so it was gone. So I've got this throbbing mass of papers to deal with. Yeah. And then the issue is, okay, what do we do with it now? Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when Sean's popped his clogs and I'm clearing out your loft or your attic, and I find a big box full of marked people I've forgiven, is my name going to be in there?
yeah. Letters to Ed. So I mean, what I suggest that people do, and it is a very powerful exercise. It works. It does work. I've done it with thousands of people now. And it's like you write your letters and then you need to get rid of them. And the easiest way to get rid of them is to get them right, print them off, you got them there. Okay, light yourself a fire. Could be a Barbie, could be anything down on the beach, anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you need to look at those letters, and then you need to read them out loud. And if you go back to the notes you look at, there's a bit about how do you actually enact the forgiveness. It's in the letters and the thing. So you actually forgive the person for what they did. Say it out loud, read the letter, and then you commit it to the flame and just let it go. Yeah. And it's a bit ritualistic, but it's such a powerful experience to do it. People have said to me when they've done it that they actually feel lighter. Their body feels lighter at a cellular level. Wow. Amazing. Really good. Yeah. Yeah. There are some people that you could talk to, but it's very rare because all you do is feed and fan it and create more problems.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't do it.
Yeah. I mean,
so go on. Yeah.
I just don't know how powerful it would be, yeah, to write some of that stuff down. Just that mere act of getting it down on paper without sending it. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. It can be quite emotional, quite difficult, and sometimes people have tried to write letters and had to stop because they get a bit distraught. Yeah. And when you start to write letters or you start to make a list of people, it's like having stuff in a cupboard, in a box. And you're pulling the boxes out. There's got this stuff in. Okay, that's Fred. I need to deal with him. And there's Harry. Okay, but what you find is you pull a box out, and then behind it are all things that have fallen down that you've forgotten about. So when you go into the cupboard in your head to start pulling the boxes out, there's very often a lot more in there than you think there is. Yeah, as you start to write down the people that you need to forgive for what they did to you. It could be, one of your bosses. It could be a parent. It could be a friend. It could be a partner. Doesn't matter who it is. Could be a politician. Yeah. Wow. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay.
So
homework.
Your homework. Sorry.
Yeah. Go on. Homework then. Yeah. What we got?
Yeah. Homework is this. I suggest to everybody that you get a journal, and you make daily entries just to record what you're doing, how you're feeling through this process. Because it's quite often as you go through it, it's useful to look back and see how far you've traveled. It's a really good thing to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When you look on the website, if you download the mindfulness toolkit, there's the two meditations. One is the morning focus, where you can get your head on the right way around before you start your day. And the other one is the evening review to do at the end of the day, so that you can start to get your head working, to get your emotions working, to balance them. So they're just short, like 5-minute meditations, but cool. They're there to get you working with your brain. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then write your journal. And most of all, sleep well, get a good sleep pattern. And there's a recording on there called The Beach. And The Beach is used, and so many people use The Beach as bizarre. But it's a really useful recording to get you to get the best you can out of your sleep, so you can deal with all these things. Because sometimes when you are emptying your cupboard out, it might disturb your psyche a bit, because there's things you pulled out that you've forgotten about. Oh, I've forgotten about that, and then it comes up again.
Yeah, I'm just going to make a note of stuff I need to put on the show notes then, of links and stuff, because a lot going on here to get people started off, eh?
Yeah, and the deal is, go on the site, read the stuff that's there, and use the recordings, and start to look at who you need to let go of. What do you need to let go of? What is stuck in your head that is negative, that needs to go? Yeah, and let's get rid of it. Yeah, and if you have any problems, you need to talk anything through, or you've got problems with getting rid of a certain person out of your head or certain negativity, just drop me a message, and we'll meet up online and do something with it. Yeah.
Good times. All right, it's exciting. People are allowed to be excited about this stuff, aren't they? And
Yeah. Because on the other end of it, I could show you thousands of emails from people saying, I had one the other day from someone who wanted, it was in a gratitude mood, and was thanking me for work that we did, like, must have been 5 years ago. Yeah, on this stuff, and because of the effect it's had on their life,
Yeah, you don't need to aspire to have your own private jet or a holiday home in the Hamptons or whatever. You can have much more. Your goals can be far simpler than that, can't they?
Yeah, and to me, I like the person that said, If I go to bed with a smile on my face and I wake up with a smile on my face, I'm done. Job done. You know,
Cool.
I'm happy.
Yeah. All right. Good times.
Yes.
All right. Do you want to give a little quick sneak peek of chapter 2 or step 2 for next week? What we're going to be moving on to?
What we're going to move on to is in step 1, we're looking at forgiving other people for what they've done to us. Yeah. In step 2, we need to start looking at the other way around, as in, who would I need to apologize to?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's like taking responsibility for my own actions. And again, you can write letters, but you can't send them. If you were to ring someone up and say, hi, yeah, I want to apologize for being a bastard all those years ago, that you get into, you're a bloody right, and off you go again. So you don't solve any problems that way. Yeah. But you're cleaning your cupboard out so that you can let go of all that was. Give yourself a clean start, get into your present.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Exciting. Okay.
It's going to be fun.
I don't think we need to do a resource of the week this week, because we've got chapter 1 to down for people to download. Lots of homework to be doing.
Yeah, they're all there. Yeah. That's cool.
All right.
That's good.
Cool. So check out the website, livingthepresent.co.uk. It's all going to be there, because I need to go and do that now.
Yeah.
And get in touch with us if there's anything in particular that you think we need to focus on, or you've got any particular questions, and we'll do our best to kind of mention stuff as we go along. But cheers, Sean, that was good. I've lost him. All right, he's gone down. I'm just oh, there you are. You're back. All right. I thought I was gonna have to round up without you. Sean, I'll catch you next week, eh?
Okay, you take care. Bye everybody.
See you later.
Enjoy your homework.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.